we have a new program that we've launched this fall, Planet Earth Poetry, and that is our Poetic Opener. And it's giving us an opportunity to have poets who have been reading at Planet Earth Poetry, maybe for a really long time, some not so much, but they've read a few times, and we are getting to feature them in a way that we're really enjoying, because instead of just hearing the one poem we would usually hear at the open mic, we get to hear a few, 3 poems in this case. You can read more about the Poetic Opener program on our website, and then we have some information on the newsletter, and please sign up for it. Tonight, we're going to be welcoming Cynthia Woodman, who is our second Poetic Opener. And Cynthia's poetry has appeared in most of Canada's literary journals and has happily won some awards. And congratulations. She has published Good Holding Ground with Palimpsest Press and co-edited poems from Planet Earth in LeafPress. And most recently, 2 suites of her poems have just been named finalists in the Gwendolyn McEwen contest, her Object Lessons and Fragrant Harbor. And she'll be reading from those tonight. So we are most fortunate. Welcome, Cynthia. Okay, and excuse me if I spritz you. I don't mean to.
Don't cough. Thank you so much, and thank you for this opportunity to read and to listen to live poetry. So excited. And to get out of the house on a Friday night and not watch Netflix. So yes, the first poem is an excerpt that I'm going to read from that suite of poems that I sent to that contest, and it's called Object Lessons. It's a series of prose pieces, and it was written in the depths of lockdown, where I walked every day to the sea and found an object that would spark. Object Lessons. And so there's a head note to the poems, and it's from Albert Camus' The Plague, which I was reading at the time, looking for answers. Didn't find any, but it's a good one. Quote, "You must picture the consternation of our little town, hitherto so tranquil, and now, out of the blue, shaken to its core." Object Lessons. Foot. The woman is startled when she sees the first of 3 babies come out of her left foot. A slit has formed down the length of the sole, skin peeled back in 2 neat folds. Beautiful baby girls, tucked snug as lychees, pop out one after the other. 6 pounds, 7 ounces each. The mother is a bit upset. She's mad at herself for not foreseeing this would happen. But how could she have known? She tries to remember all the signs. The spreading bridge, the arches fallen low as the stock market. How the whole world is walking more now. Every morning and late afternoon, strangers greet each other by the sea or in public gardens. They say hello from 6 feet apart in air so clear you can imagine Hardy's Wessex. When Henshire walked in Hardy's words, his measured, springless walk of a skilled countryman. A rush basket on his back. The mother loved how her shoulders relaxed on her walks, and how, when she returned from them and put her feet up, something good stirred. Mallet. A pair dabbling, upended bottoms, bobbing corks, the hen in ashy browns, her drape crowned in emeralds, yellow bills clatter. They fish the shore in the shallows, paddle and float with the current, scoop heavy water with orange webs, sieve disturbed sand for crabs, passing shrimp, shreds of seaweed. They have no net, no toothbrush, no mortgage or mingwas. Viktor Frankl left only his eyeglasses, a book, and a prayer shawl, which Ellie, his second wife, his first murdered in the Holocaust, kept in a small cupboard in their apartment of dated wallpaper, old furniture. Those who have a why to live, he said, can bear almost anyhow. In the sky above the ducks, an eagle cruises, hoping to fall like fate and kill before the mallard can manage its vertical flight, sudden and savings love. The pair stays close and nibbles together with only the sun, the water lapping. Life that simple, that perilous. The next poem is from my manuscript called Water Quality, that is wandering around looking for a home right now. And there's a section in there called Fragrant Harbor. And those are poems about my growing up in Hong Kong in the 60s and visiting it most recently in 2017. This poem is from the 60s. Man of War, 1963. Beyond the sharp nets of Clearwater Bay, in a cabin cruiser furnished with captain, the parents eat pigs in a blanket while the kids cannonball off the bow or plunge like pearl divers into the amniotic South China Sea. Pausing en route from stern to bow for an icy orange spot, sticky and sweet on gluing lips, or a fistful of salty crisps. Come on, the kids call to the gods in the cockpit, and the fathers stride marble and magnificent to the bow before executing perfect jackknives. The children froth around them, wrapped in brief tentacles of paternity, before the fathers peel away, and everyone clambers on board for another round. My father launches first and comes out howling. Portuguese man of war, risen from below, now at full sail, venomous tendrils billowing. Dad, yanking the swim ladder, water sliding silver from his welted back. But he's laughing, shouting for a towel, another scotch. That was the 60s. And my last poem is called Kintsugi. And it has a head note. Desire is the essence of everyone. Spinoza. Kintsugi. When we met, we were broken. Smashed, really. Collapsed. Smashed by desire and collapsed in on the self, like a building. A building slated for demolition, struts blown apart by a lover's dynamite placed beneath supports. Dynamite of another's desires, exploding supports the heart didn't know it needed. The hammered heart, cupped in builders' hands, desiring. We mended the shards with gold seams, kintsugi, gold, silver, platinum applause, we desired it all. The craft of repair so subtle, I often forgot to thank you. Each day, I glimpsed gleaming scars and am thankful. When we met, we were broken. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cynthia. Please keep us updated on the suites of poems in the Gwendolyn McEwen. That's so exciting. Congratulations again. Okay, so it's now my pleasure to welcome our featured reader for the evening, Matsuki Masutani. And I'm so happy to as well. Is a translator. Ten years later to Denman Island. His poems have appeared in Geist magazine, Capilano Review, and in the anthology Love of the Salish Sea Islands. I Will Be More Myself in the Next World is a collection of poetry written over the course of many years. I just have to say how much I love that title. It's wonderful. The most recent poems, chemo poems, came into being 2 years ago during cancer treatment. Infused with a wry humor, this collection takes on the topics of marriage, immigration, island life, dealing with Parkinson's disease, old age, grandchildren. Composed in simple, everyday language, this book can be read in one sitting. Many find themselves wanting to repeat these poems, and we're so happy to read these poems tonight. Welcome.
Good evening. Good evening. Am I hearing? No. Oh.
Stand closer to your mouth. Yeah. Yeah. And then,
Good.
okay.
Hear me? My name is Matsuki. Me and my wife came from Denman Island. Yes, sir. Together. I'm going to read chemotherapy poem. And can I hear?
It's not loud enough.
Oh, right now.
No, you have to speak louder. Maybe turn the mic up.
So,
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
That's better.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Okay.
And I'm going to read chemotherapy poems. I think those are kind of depressing poems, but I'm compelled to read them. Probably because it's the most recent one. Somehow, on my heart. It's depressing, but on my heart. So I hope this way translate clearly. My wife complains I'm reading this depressing poem. So I asked her to read other from this book. She's not only my wife, but also she's a past editor. She writes herself for 30 years. Secretly, I think she's better writer than me. Certainly, she's a better reader. Okay. Two weeks before the doctor told me I had cancer, 7 gods of blood appeared in my dream. They came down the river in a pink boat and docked in a bed of peas. Outside the boat, they had a meeting and seemed to decide to help me. So when the doctor said cancer, I thought this is tough love from the gods and did not lose hope. Of course, I was beside myself when I was born cancer. I'm going to read one Japanese poem. Yes, nobody understands.
Just closer.
Closer
to your
just
mouth.
stand up.
Stand closer. Yeah.
Also, okay.
That's much better. Yeah.
This is a good device, yes.
Okay, so on that.
抗がん剤治療の安楽室にゆったりと座って、雪をかぶった山々とその上にかぶる柔らかそうなものが流れている。その時、不思議な幸福感に包まれてと思った。私はもう73歳で、がんを病んでいる。死んでもおかしくない。だが若い医師は治療すれば大丈夫だという。それを聞いて新たに生きようと思う。Okay, now it's an English version. Can you hear me?
Yes.
From my chemo chair, I see the mountains, capped with snow. It occurs to me, I'm 73 years old. I have cancer. I'm dying. The doctor says, I will live. He's young. They gave me a bottle with a chemo in it. It will hang from my neck, and I must embrace it. I'm afraid of the bottle with its tubes, but it is the water of life. The nurse called it a baby bottle. I must make my life more worthy. If I have a fever over 38 degrees, the nurse said, I must go to the emergency immediately. But the emergency is crowded, I tell her. She smiles and says, don't worry. You are a chemo patient. You can jump the queue. I stiffen. I cannot imagine myself in an ambulance. I cannot imagine myself jumping over the queue. I'm losing my hair every time I touch my head. White hair fall to my sweater. The nurse says, in the humans, it will grow back, maybe in a different color, even black. I look in the mirror and see an old face. It is hard to breathe. It is me. It is hard to breathe. I have cancer. In my long gaze, the person in the mirror becomes someone else. Next one, this one is my favorite, wonderful. From my living room window, I watch an old cherry tree blossom day after day. One afternoon, two young girls sit under the tree and drink and eat. They watch the blossoms, just like in Japan. When the wind blows, flower petals swarm like an insect, and the cypress fly down the road like a bird. I'm quiet in the tree, stretch out its neck to ask how I am doing. Japanese version. 来る日も来る日もリビングルームに座って窓から桜を眺めて、ほっとしていると桜の方から首を伸ばして僕の様子を覗き見る。風が吹くと花びらが昆虫のように舞い、その横をサイクリストが鳥のように疾走した。ある日二人の女の子は日本でのように桜の下に座って飲む気をした。カナダ人の孫はゆっくりしてそれを眺める。In the middle of my cancer treatment, I saw myself leaving this world and realized leaving means losing everything. My home, my wife, my children, and my grandchildren. In remission, I'm ashamed I'm not right-hearted. I long for the expansive feeling I had when I saw I was leaving the world. A friend of mine came over to congratulate me on my recovery from cancer. She is a retired GP. We went for a walk. She said, "You walk funny. You like you have a Parkinson." Why not? It's like Parkinson. I'm still walking. Between actions, there are moments when I lose myself wondering, what am I doing? In the far corner, I see my socks and think of the trouble of putting them on. It will take 4 times longer than before. Everything takes more time. Typing words, getting up from the chair, cutting the vegetables, and my time is running out. This is the riddle. I must be fast while going slow. Strange to think, I won't be as healthy again as I was before. I am getting weaker, and someday I will perish. Whole world will go on. When my cancer treatment was complete, I thought I was out of the tunnel, returning to normal. But I went into another tunnel, like driving through mountains. I was living as if I'd live forever. At the age of 74, I realized this was end. My wife said, "I make it beautiful." I asked her, "What will you make beautiful?" She replied, "A garden in the next world." I've heard that when we die, one of the questions we have to answer is, have you enjoyed your life? Jim quit his job. Jim is my wife's friend's husband. Jim quit his job, borrowed money from the bank, and went on vacation. We sat at the dinner table and looked out on cold spring rain. This is not a dress rehearsal, he said. This is it. My son's at age. I want to join my life before it's too late. Him to be as a number two. I was listening to an old man talking nonsense on CBC radio. He wasn't up to the point, just trying to please the host. I said to myself, what an old fart. Then the host said, he's 74. My age exactly. During pickleball wrestling, I feel tired, so I sit down. Anybody else does that? Nobody else does that. Some are older, but they keep standing. A woman look at me with disgust. I haven't told anybody, not even the instructors, that I have Parkinson's. I feel I'm entitled to sit down anywhere, even in inappropriate circumstances, like a few minutes later, more people are sitting down. The annoyed instructor tells us, pick up the balls. After this, my rifle. Well,
Yeah. You read it.
sixty.
68. Okay. Well, on page 60. Matsuki already read this, but I'm his glasses on. Okay. 2 weeks before the doctor told me I had cancer, the 7 gods of luck appeared in my dream. They came down the river in a pink boat and docked in a bed of reeds. Outside the boat, they had a meeting and seemed to decide to help me. So when the doctor said cancer, I thought, this is tough love from the gods, and did not lose hope. Long ago in a classroom, I heard about a utopia called the Village of Peach Blossoms. Many of my friends, even the girls, soon dismissed this as fantasy, but I never forgot the image. Now, I realize I am in it. I am inside that image, standing in a garden of apple blossoms. To get here, I left my country, my city life, even my career. I must be nuts. That's not me talking, of course, that's him. My 14-year-old daughter asked me, Dad, do you worry about losing our respect? No, not at all, I replied. That's good. She sounded relieved. In bed, I wondered what she meant. Soon, a watchman in a dark costume appeared and gazed at the lake of my consciousness, as if to prevent a dragon from emerging. The watchman's earnestness prevented me from sleeping for a long time. In spite of cloudy skies, my wife and I have a great time in the city, visiting friends and restaurants, feeling happy and free. We drive home in the afternoon, feeling like butterflies or dragonflies, light and happy. The next day, back at home on the island, we fight over our old theme, to move or not to move. I went on a protest walk to keep my friend company and helped another friend carry a sign. During the walk, a poet from Quadra Island read his Zen poem and gave me his book, The Meaning of Life. A few days later, I saw myself on the front page of a local paper, holding a big sign I hadn't made, no compliance. As we rocked on rough waves, I said to myself, what would my mother think of me dying on a sailboat? I got more scared and clung to the rails, praying in silence. Leaving control of the boat to a priest I barely knew, finally I said, is the worst over? Cupping his hand to his ear, he smiled. I had planned for a different kind of sailing, packing my flute, book. At a party, a man asked me, did I meet you on the garden tour? I responded firmly, no, that was Yoshi. I am Matsuki. I am one of 2 Japanese men on the island. I have long hair and Yoshi's is short. He wears glasses and I don't. Still, many people mix us up. When people ask me, do you make miso? Which Yoshi does. I say, almost. That's it.
Thank you. Let's give them a everything that you shared in your collaboration and your poems that range so poignantly from the everyday through the mythological and themes of mortality. I think that's very apropos for thoughts that we all have these days. And we do have a few minutes. If anyone has any questions that they'd like to ask, we do try to save a little bit of time for discussion or question and answer time with the poet. And when I knew you before, I didn't know you were writing poetry. And that's my first question really is, how long have you been writing poetry? When did you come to poetry?
Actually, remember the date I started writing poems in English. It was 1990, September 9th. And after that, for some reason, I kept writing. But I didn't have any desire for the picture to show the. So already showing photos, our friends to visit. Very, very happy. Wrote poems in Japan.
That's great. No, are there any
But when I wrote chemotherapy poem, I compared to that's why the publishing book. I'm usually shy. This is very painful. But sort of half enjoying it. Thank you. As the poems,
No, what made
what made you
Go to Denman.
go to them?
yes.
Good question. Basically, for my wife, she's the one who wanted to go somewhere out of Vancouver. Actually, probably more than Sita.
I love. Say poems. But that.
Most people say I poems in Japanese and answer. But that's not the case. I always write in English, and few exceptions translate my poem in Japanese. But publisher asked me to, so I did translate. And one thing is I want to share this story. Recently, a friend of mine went to see suffering from Alzheimer's dementia. He stopped writing, stopped reading. But she started reading. Anyway, that made me very happy.
Right.